Water, aka Duquan Hicks, and I have a special guest in the building. This is one of the reasons why I became Connected Dots. This is one of the reasons why I got into the video thing. This is one of the reasons why we are here today. This man right here, this man you looking at right here is the main reason, one of the main reasons why I'm doing this because we had a talk videos, boom. Next thing you know, we did shows together, the Dude Josh show and everything like that. And like I said, man, without further ado, my man Hassan is in the building. What's good, man?
Appreciate you, brother. I love the intro, man. Thank you for giving me so much credit on that, man. I feel like I don't deserve it, but I'm
Nah, you
gonna
do.
take them
You do.
flowers, man.
You do deserve it, man, because like I said, we had that talk. Next thing you
Yeah,
know, look where we at, bro. Look
yeah,
where we at now.
yeah.
So
You
like I
didn't.
said,
You didn't.
flowers.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I
Salute.
appreciate that. Yeah,
Salute.
yeah, yeah. You. Yeah.
So man, let me ask you this, man. When men don't love themselves, is it more, is it a psychological thing for us? And if you agree, why is that? Because see, with women, when women don't love themselves, it's more emotion for them. But for men,
Uh-huh.
when we don't love ourselves, I think it's more psychological. You know what I'm saying? Because with us, we grew up not knowing what love is. When we grew
Uh-huh.
up, women were taught when things was wrong to, hug their mom, cry on your mom's shoulder, cry on your dad's arm. With us, we was told to, yo, get up, be strong, do what you got to do,
Uh-huh.
stick your chest out. So we never knew what type of love is. So sometimes when we get into a rut and we don't love ourselves, I think it's more mental than it is emotional. How do you feel about that?
Uh, men, men not loving themselves is a real thing. We've always been taught to put everything before us. I
Mm,
think to a certain degree. Um, that's kind of the role we've been given, which
right.
I, I think is a fraudulent concept. For them to put for men to be put in the forefront to do everything and to I guess so to speak be the leader. I
Mm,
believe in team
right.
in everything, whether you're in a relationship, with your girlfriend or your wife, or if you're doing something with your kid, because you never know whose turn it might be to carry the load. You know what I mean? Like I know people who talk about men being the leader, and then it was a woman. She said, but when my husband got cancer, I had to pick up and do everything that he normally does. So you never know when
Mm,
that 50-50 might go to an 80-20,
wow.
or
Right.
or you know what I mean? You just never know how those numbers are going to pan out. But for men not loving themselves, we're not taught how to love ourselves, like you say. We didn't. We probably didn't get that from our fathers. I know I didn't get it from my father because I don't have a relationship with him.
Mm,
Um, and we just taught to go, 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 go. A lot of times we're not resting, we're not exercising, we're not taking breaks in between, we're not eating good. So that's a form of self hatred
mm,
in itself. But the one thing I do love about the Nation of Islam is that they teach do for self.
right. Right.
Do for self and have knowledge of self. You know about all that stuff. Growing up in New
Yes.
York and studying those
Mm-hmm.
different avenues of religion. But that's the one thing that the Nation of Islam they do the opposite. It's exercise, eat right, live right, treat people right. But I think it's everything for us not taking care of ourselves. We're not loving ourselves spiritually, physically, mentally, emotionally, and then we try to I guess self medicate, for lack of a better word, with
Right.
buying ourselves things to make ourselves feel better. And I do it too. I might get some get some Pumas or some Nike feet or a
Mm-hmm.
decent shirt to make myself feel halfway decent. And we probably
Right.
don't get it enough from black women. I think black women
Mm,
can do a better job of acknowledging us because sometimes we feel
yes.
invisible. I heard I heard Shaq say something about it was like, "You a good father. You do this. You do that. I don't I don't need no reward. Don't tell me I'm supposed to do that." Nah, forget
Right.
that shit. If somebody wants to say something good about you, let them, because the devil is working full time, and we need to have full time positive affirmations given to us. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yes,
That's my
yes.
that's my spill on that.
I'm loving that. That's a great answer, man. I never looked at it
Yeah.
that way. That's a great answer. First of all, people in the comments, somebody said they're looking for advice. I think it's Muhammad. Speak. If you're looking for advice, just say your question and maybe we can help you. All right?
Mm.
Checking in. So, man, another thing. Why do men value peace more than anything in a relationship?
Uh, I think it kind of goes back to the first question. We don't take care of ourselves enough.
Hmm.
We're always putting everybody else first, and at bare minimum, the least we can get is some peace in our own house if we paying the rent and helping out with the kids. Real fathers, you know what I mean? Help out with the
Right.
kids,
Hmm.
trying to see if your lady okay, because there's no peace out in the world for us. And I'm sure we both been in situations where when we out and we with our lady, we want to have a good time, but we kind of in like bodyguard mode too, because you
That's
want to make
true.
sure your lady gonna be okay. You know, you hold her hand, you get her door, and your head on the swivel. But when if it's me and you out, we just out. You know what I mean? Because
That's
it's
right.
automatic. Like ain't nothing happening to you while I'm there, and ain't nothing happening to me while you there. You know what I mean?
Right.
But when
Hmm.
you with your lady, it's a different type of vibe, and that's that can cause like mental meltdown. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Constantly like it's not a safe place to be where you feel like somebody's gonna come do something to you. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
When you out, and some people they don't feel that way. They just got their guard down. But
Mm.
how we grew up, our guards, we I think we have a healthy paranoia. You
Mm.
know what I mean? If I could say that, where you just kind of, if something ain't right, you got to feel for it. But nobody wants to walk around like that all day. You know what I
That's
mean? I
true.
should be able
That's
to
true.
go home to my woman and be at peace. I love being at peace, especially, you know, being 50. Like that that's paradise for me right
Yes.
now, to
Yes.
sit down
Paradise.
and have, yes, and have nothing to do at all.
Hmm.
Shh, I'm telling you, I don't even like to commit to be like, you coming out. I ain't gonna make no promises, because after work you just want to chill, man.
Yes. Yes. That's the body. Your body be talking to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, you know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Yeah, the
Yeah.
body is
Yeah.
talking loud and
Hmm.
clear.
Yep. I know I
Yeah,
have them
yeah.
days a lot lately. And I'd be like, man, I mean, I'd be asked to do this, do that, do this. I'd be like, nah, I'd be like to be at home with my peace. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
people have different types of peace. Like for
Oh
me,
yeah.
my peace is just knowing that I woke up. First of all, I woke up the next day. I'm peace at that. And then
Uh-huh.
number two, making sure bills is paid. That's another form of
Yeah,
peace that a lot of people don't never get to have because of situations and all that. And then
I
knowing that,
agree.
your family is going through the right narrative, the right roads, to taking down the right paths. That's another form of peace. You know.
Yeah, I
So right
agree. Yeah,
here,
yeah.
I have a question right here. Somebody in the comments, Muhammad, it says, I'm in a situation where I have to pick up two of my best friends. Let me see. I got to turn this a little bit. Two of my best friends and proposed to a girl who was going to marry. I was proposed to a girl that I was going to marry, but she refused him for me because we had mad feelings and I was going to propose to her. Wow, that's crazy. But my friend did it better than me. So how do you feel about that?
What? His friend proposed to his girl?
Yeah, something like that.
Is
And
that what
he's
he said?
trying, yeah, that's kind of crazy.
She refused him.
My thing
Wait
is,
a minute.
yup, Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Y'all both was liking the same girl, and your friend
Mhm.
proposed to your girl better than you. Is that what you trying to say? Because that's kind of weird. Because first
Yeah,
of all, that can't be your friend. Number one, why would your friend propose to your girl? That should be off
yeah,
limits. That should be off limits.
yeah.
You
Automatic,
know,
automatic. Yeah,
automatic.
yeah,
What you think
yeah.
about that, man?
I think he got to stop being friends with that dude and cut that girl off. That
Yes,
whole situation sounds toxic, but we need more context.
yes.
We
More
need more
context.
info. Yeah, that's a conversation. It's hard to go in and say what you should or should not do
Right.
without getting more context and hearing all three sides of the story. You know what I mean? That's a tough one, and I know it's
Exactly.
hard for them to put it all down in the comments. It's a lot to unpack there,
Yeah, he
but
says he don't know what to do. Like I said, you need to sit down and talk with both of them at the same time and see where everybody's head is at. Number one, because
yeah,
if she wants to marry him, then so be it. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is that should have never. If we're friends, if I'm like me and you, we cool. I would never let a woman come between us. I always say that to my
right,
dudes. I never let a
yeah,
woman come between none of my friends. We don't do that. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So that's a
I
that's a
agree.
conversation that y'all need to have, all three of y'all. But thank
Yeah,
you for for
yeah.
for putting that up there, Muhammad. I appreciate that, man. No doubt. Wow, that's crazy, right? That's crazy.
That is crazy.
So that comes to my next question. Why do we ignore the signs that's right in front of us? You know?
Yeah. Why do we ignore the signs? Sometimes it's fear.
Mm,
Yeah, and it's a case by case. A lot of times we're afraid of things, and we pretend like we're not. I've always
right.
heard people say, "I ain't scared of nothing." You
Mm,
know, when you're in that tough man zone, but you haven't experienced everything that life has to offer.
right, right.
And again, like we was talking about before, it's a level of conditioning. We're taught to just mind our business and say, like we in social media, so we see a lot of stuff happening where
Mm,
cops are beating up black men and even killing them. I seen one video where a cop he had a 7-year-old girl on the ground with his knee in her back,
mm,
and I was listening to Nuri Muhammad, from the Nation of Islam,
right.
and he said, "Ain't no way that black men should have been walking past that girl and letting that cop do that. Nation of Islam or no Nation of Islam." You
That's
know what I mean?
right.
He said them
That's
guys was a
right.
bunch of cowards to walk past. He said, "Cop or no cop, we're gonna get him up off that 7-year-old little girl because there's nothing that she done that was that bad where he had
Exactly.
to throw her on the ground and put his knee in her back and twist her arm at the same
Mm,
time." So we're afraid, and we be conditioned to be afraid.
mm,
To do what Master say do when he say do it.
mm,
And it's a lot to unpack there. Uh, we as black people, we suffer from post-traumatic slavery syndrome. All that
mm,
trauma that our ancestors went through,
mm.
it was passed down to us. We're
Right.
suffering from generational fatigue.
Yep.
So we're born burnt out and in
Mm,
survival mode, and we don't even
yes.
realize there's certain things that just in us that we're doing. We don't even realize that we're doing. But when we make that connection with God, he'll convict us. We'll feel bad, like, damn, I should have did something. I should have said
Mm,
something. And it keeps us awake at night. For me, it do.
right.
If
Right.
something happens and I don't say something about it, and I sat there quiet like a coward, I check
Mm,
myself and say, the next time something close to this happen,
mm-hmm.
I'm going in, because we come from a people who fight
Right.
everything that
Right.
black
Right.
people had to get in this country. We fought for it. We fought
Mm-hmm.
for voting. We fought to be treated like a human beings. I can't even be a whole human being, 3/5 of a man. You know what I
Mm,
mean? I can't be 100%. Not that it matters, because like I told you before, we were gods before we were stripped.
that's right.
Of everything, of our original culture,
Right.
as gods. So we've been conditioned to be afraid and pretend like we don't see it, we don't hear it. It's been a lot of times where I felt like a sellout because I didn't do something or say something on the job because I was afraid that I would lose my job.
Right.
Ignoring the signs and the signals, I should have said something, I should have did something. And not soon after that situation happened, whatever it may have been, now they on me. You
Right.
know what I mean? I think to myself sometimes we got to set the tone like Ali, because Ali
Mm.
didn't ignore it.
That's right.
He didn't ignore the stuff that was happening, and he sacrificed it all. We know Ali said, "I ain't going to war. You can take the title, you can take the belt, you can take the money, you can take it all. I will not go overseas to help kill other little black boys and girls that look like my children." And
Mm.
I'll never forget when he said that. I said, "Yo," he said this in front of the world, and I'm afraid to say something to a supervisor.
I
I
know,
gotta
right?
say something. I gotta say
Well,
something. Ali went toe to toe with the federal government.
that's right. That's why
Yeah.
I like Kyrie Irving. And when he stood up for what he had to stood up for, Colin
Yeah.
Kaepernick, same thing. The guys
Mhm.
that stand up for what they believe in, so what they got stones thrown at them, but it also shows you Kanye as well. It just shows you that there's some brothers out here that's still out here thinking and looking at the whole picture. Like I always, my
Yes, sir.
phrase, we always look at a picture, but we never look at the whole picture. You just want to look at what you seeing, what you want to see. But you got to look at the
Hmm.
whole entire picture to understand what is going on. And I think
I agree
with
with that.
us, we keep ignoring these signs that's coming to us, and it's like we're at a party, like we're stuck on party mode. And we stuck on
Hmm.
party mode, but we're not realizing what's going on. And I think some of us know what's going on, but like I said, we just stuck on party mode, or I call it having a meeting at the job, and they say, "Anybody have any questions?" And nobody say nothing. That type mode. I think we
Mm.
stuck on that type mode, man. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
crazy.
That fear has been put in us. Is we've been conditioned to be afraid and not question it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Even in classrooms when kids are being taught, when they don't, when they when they stand up to the teacher, they're a problem. Or if they challenge the teacher, they're a problem. They move around. It's always an issue when you get that kid that's bold enough to say something back to the teacher or confront them to a certain degree and hold them accountable. There's always an issue with that
Yes.
child, but it's really the issue with the teacher a lot of times. Probably more often than not.
Yes, I agree. I agree. Tevin Smith, if I'm saying your name wrong, Tavin Smith, he said, Jesus is coming very soon. This is a loving and warning, heaven and hell. I like what you're saying, man. That's just great. I love it. You know what I'm saying? And he said he
Hmm.
loves us so much. Appreciate that, man. I like the
Appreciate
comments
the
coming
love.
in. I like the
Yeah.
comments coming in because God is coming. That's why we having these. That's why we connecting the dots, man. We want everybody to be aware of what's going on. For real. Keep them coming.
Yeah.
Keep it coming, man. Um, I got another question, man. Why do you feel like we have to keep up with the Joneses? Why is it so important to keep up with the Joneses, man?
That conditioning,
Mm,
that conditioning. Uh, we live in a material world because this is the way they made it. They made things so that, and hold on, let me see if I can describe this better.
okay.
Okay, so they created an economy, right? The economy is the flow of money, and
Right.
you got rich people who control the economy. So in order for them to stay rich, we have to keep buying stuff,
Right.
whatever it is. Every single time we buy something, somebody that's already rich is getting richer. You got a few
Right.
mom and pop spots somebody might buy, they got them a little convenience store, but the person who owns Lay's chips is getting the
Mm-hmm.
bigger cut of the money. You know what I
Right.
mean? The person who owns Nike is getting a bigger cut of the money. So every single time, and even in real estate, When you
Mm,
talking about like nice houses and mansions like that, it's when that mansion gets sold and bought, somebody is getting a bigger cut of the money. So they got to keep our dollars in rotation, especially the black dollar.
mm,
And we spend more money than anybody else in this country. We spend way more money. So we got the money to dig ourselves out of the hole, but they keep
right.
us brainwashed with chasing materialistic things. And
Mm,
that's a fact because I don't need a $500 pair of Yeezys.
yes.
I don't need them.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Would it make me look cool in front of other people? Yeah, but all this stuff is overpriced anyway. They price
mm-hmm.
gouge.
That's right.
They price gouging the hell out of everything. And it's a conditioning when people get that money. So them athletes get that money, they're already conditioned to spend it with the white man.
Mm,
They're gonna get a Maybach, an Aston Martin, and be honest, I would just get me a Toyota. You know what I mean?
mm,
I'd be living
mm-hmm.
like Ocho Cinco. He probably the
Oh yeah.
smartest football player to ever go out there. He said, "Man, my road was fake. I'm gonna spend
Mm-hmm.
$100,000 on the watch for it. It's fake. You can't tell the
That's right.
difference.
That's
You
right.
can now because I told you, Ocho
Long as it's
Cinco.
working, that's all that matters.
Yeah,
Long as it's
long as it's
working,
working.
you
Yep,
know.
it is.
Wow.
And then them players they go broke. We see them 30
Yeah.
for 30
Yes.
documentaries and they talk about all them broke players. They
That's
ain't got no
crazy.
more money. The lawyers is
Mm,
gone. The girls is gone. And the
mm-hmm.
NFL then dogged them out. The NFL ain't nothing but a bunch of fucking gangsters. That's
Mm.
probably the second.
Mean.
The second, yeah, they gutter. The
Mm.
NFL is probably the second most powerful organization in America. The first one is the government.
Yeah, I call
The
them the
NFL
plantation.
is they
Yeah.
yeah they is and
Mm-hmm.
I'm pissed and I like football, but after I saw what they did to Kaepernick, I said I
Mm-hmm.
ain't doing it. I said I ain't watching nothing. I was telling my cousin because he big Cowboys fan and all. I said, bro, if we boycott the NFL for the 2 whole seasons, just
Mm.
black people, I said they'll go bankrupt and give us the respect that we need and
Mm.
treat them players better too. You know what I
Mm.
mean? There's so many lawsuits pending against the NFL because all the people they done dogged out and disrespected. You know what I mean?
Mm.
The Kaepernick was just he sacrificed it. He
Yes, he
sacrificed
did.
it for us. He didn't have to. He had been sitting down and it took a black reporter. I was watching the documentary. It was a black reporter who dimed him out. A
Mm.
black reporter sold him out. Said, "Yeah, Kaepernick's been sitting. Notice I gotta figure out." And Kaepernick openly, he spoke to him, trusting
Mm.
him. And
Right.
then the dude made a whole story about it because nobody was paying him any attention. And he showed respect. He said, "Well, I'll just take the knee," because he met with some troops, some soldiers. He said, "I'll just
Right.
take a knee,"
Mm-hmm.
and they still dogged him out. And that was a great example of of racism. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Racism,
Mm-hmm.
and it showed you all the coons and sellouts who
Mm.
wanted to burn his jersey, and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Craig Jackson.
Oh yeah.
Is it Craig Jackson? No, Craig. What's his name?
Craig Hodges.
Craig. Craig Hodges. Yep.
Yeah, in
Craig
basketball.
Hodges and
Yeah.
Mahmoud
Yes.
Abdul Rauf.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Craig
Craig
Hodges.
Hodges is what his name was. Chris Jackson. But he changed it to Mahmoud Abdul Rauf.
Mm-hmm.
You know, same thing happened to those guys.
Wow.
So
Ha-
yeah, in politics, what the fuck do politics got to do with playing sports? What the fuck the
Nothing.
flag got to do with playing sports? That's how you know
Nothing.
it's all conditioning. It's all connected. You know what I mean? I gotta
Mm-hmm.
stand and put my hand on my heart and listen to y'all sing this raggedy ass song and look at this stupid ass flag.
Mm.
That don't make no sense. I said, nah, I'm done. Yeah, y'all
Mm.
not y'all not about to get me no more. I'm waking up. I didn't know before, but I'm waking up because I love sports because it pulls you in
Oh yeah.
with the emotional touchdowns. You know what I mean? And that's the only time white people don't mind seeing a group of black people together when they're entertaining them. It's
Mm.
either entertainment or sex. That's the only time we get
Yeah.
love from
Yeah.
white people. Why they not
Mm,
showing us no love when the police pull us over? Why they not showing us no love when we trying to get a loan from the bank? Why they not showing no love when we trying to open a business
mm,
or reparations?
mm. Mean, mean,
Yeah.
mean. I like that. Mean. And we're not saying all white people, just some. Because there's some
No,
good
just
white, there's
just
some
just
good people in general out there too.
it's yeah, it's some decent white people out
Yeah.
there, but they still can't come to the barbecue.
You still, yeah. Oh
Can't
my
you
God.
can't come to the barbecue. They can't come to
Oh
the
my
barbecue.
God.
I
Oh,
think I think they're all savages to a certain degree, and they learn how to put it away and bring
mm,
it out.
mm,
And some people they don't feel like that. I think to myself, I was having a conversation with a girl, a black girl. She said, "I don't think all white people are racist." I said, "I think they're born that way." Because let's think about it. Which white man had the first thought to be racism, and then which white man had the thought to put it in action and start creating these barriers and boundaries and separations amongst the people? I said, who was the first person? I said, because you have to think about it. Where people live can have an effect on how they think and how they
that's
live.
true.
Where
That's
there's a
so
proven
true.
fact there. Places that have the least amount of sunshine are the grumpiest. They're the most unhappy. They're the most depressed. So white people started off in the caves. What they call it, the Kakarshan. I forget
Hmm.
how they say it. But if they started off in caves and cold places, they were born evil then. And there's
Wow.
some decent white people out there, but you held us and you kidnapped us and killed us and held us in captivity for 450 years
Mm,
in bulk, in bulk.
mean,
You know what I mean?
mean.
And then
Yes.
and slavery didn't end; they modified it.
Mm,
There was no prisons before slavery. It was just a bunch of black people working in the plantation. There was no law enforcement. The form of law enforcement was slave catchers,
wow.
slave badges. That's why they call them officers. Remember that song? Whoop,
Oh yeah.
whoop. It's the sound
That's the
of the
sound of the
police.
police.
Police, yeah, overseer, overseer,
Overseer.
overseer, 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 officer.
KRS. Shout
KRS One.
outs.
Yeah,
Yes.
shout out.
Mm.
Yeah, but I ain't gonna drag that out too long, man.
Nah, it's all good. I want you to speak. Speak on it, man.
Yeah.
Yo, so why do children tend to ask their grandparents for favors but won't come over there to visit them just on a regular basis?
Mm,
You know, you notice that like nowadays, when we was coming up, we respected grandma, granddad. We went over there. We was happy to see them. It wasn't about a favor. Now, because grandmas and granddads are young, I call them, the good sugar mamas. That's what you want to call them. But now I'm just saying, the good sugar mamas. That's what I call them because
yeah, yeah,
nowadays, grandmas are much more younger, and they try to compete with the mamas and the daughters. So for me,
yeah.
it's like why these kids don't go over to see grandma unless it's a favor. You know what I'm saying? Or unless they need money.
Yeah,
But they don't never just go over to visit and say hello like how we did back in the day. You know? What do you think?
man. Yeah, I think what you said plays a major part. These grandmothers are younger
Right.
nowadays. Um, it's such a disconnect between the youth and the elderly, and
Mm,
that's a lot to unpack right there too. There was a book written by Willie Lynch,
hmm
and he put that in his book. You know, he said if we execute these strategies on black people for this X amount of time, X amount of years, then we won't have to do it. They'll do it to themselves. And
mm,
one of the rules in there was make the young hate the old, and make the old hate the young, make the light hate the dark, make the son hate the dad, make the dad hate the daughter, make the
mm.
husband hate the wife. And
Wow.
they'll do it to themselves.
Mm,
They'll do it to themselves. And his his methods are still working to
Right.
this day. His methods are still working to this day, and there's no community. Like, and when I say community, I mean the parents, the mom and dads, they got to sit down and have relationship with their kids. They don't have relationship with their kids.
No.
Social media is raising these kids, raising these babies. I see 3-year-old kids, they right here
Hmm.
in the phone deep. My sisters with their kids, they time it. You know what I mean? They're like, you got 30 minutes a day. Not
Okay.
30 minutes every half hour. You get 30 minutes on that phone or on that iPad a day, and that's all you get. And you gonna read. We gonna go over what you read. You're gonna write a book report. You can watch a little
Hmm.
bit TV. We're gonna
Right.
talk about Asada Shakur. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? We're gonna put something in you to help you grow and live, like Malcolm Jamal Warner talked about.
Yes.
His dad named him Malcolm after
Mm.
Malcolm X, and
That's right.
Jamal, it was the jazz singer. I forget what, but it was a revolutionary jazz singer that he was named after too. But he said
Hmm.
his dad made him read all summer, so that when you grow up, you see the respectable man. Malcolm Jamal Warner handling
Hmm.
himself with so much pride and dignity, without
Right.
getting caught up in all the hype and the hoopla and the scandal that
Hmm.
celebrities go through. So
That's
yeah,
so
it's
true.
it. The parents ain't really raising these kids. It's it's
Mm.
a it's a lot of dads that's not in the household,
True.
and it's a ongoing conversation saying that black dads are in the household more than people say that there aren't. You know what I mean? Like, it's been an ongoing argument, but I say one is too many.
Right.
One not being there is too many,
That's right.
and
Too many.
it's too many because that one not being in that household is going to affect the rest of us. We're all connected.
Right.
So it has to be like the mamas and the dads. They got to set the tone. This your grandma. You need to
Mm.
go check her out, see about her, have a relationship. Because I'm sure you probably like me growing up. I couldn't
Hmm.
wait to go see my grandma. It was
Me
like
too.
my best
Me
friend.
too.
You know what I
That's
mean?
right. Yes. Grandma back in the day, she was more like the person that held the family together, no matter what. Like if it was in
Yes.
arguments, she made sure that everybody came together, especially during holidays. If it was Thanksgiving, if it was
Hmm.
Christmas, Grandma was like the peacemaker and making sure everybody held things together. And then even if your mother and your father was mad at you, that for a few days, Grandma know how to smooth it over for you to be cool for
Yeah.
those few days until you got home. So
Yeah.
shout out to the real grandmas out there who's doing that job, and the granddads too. Can't forget about you too.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah,
Grandma's house was that place that everybody can go.
yes,
Everybody can go to that house because you might have two aunties beefing and be like, I don't mess with her. I ain't going over
exactly.
her house. But if you show up at grandma's house, though, you going to see him. And you
Mm,
probably going to have to talk to him. But we
see,
got to
cause
stop being so petty and go
yes,
check your grandma out.
mm, petty is the
Go
right
check your
word.
grandma out. Yeah, they so petty. These little bitty things that they be arguing about, and all of a sudden it means nothing when somebody dies. Somebody should not have to die for you to feel sorry and feel bad about a situation. I got no problem apologizing to people. I
Hmm.
apologize to people way more than people apologize to me, and I'm
Yes.
okay with that. You know what I mean?
Mm,
I'm okay with that because God is gonna move in my life. You got something you need to work out. I created my peace. You know,
mm,
because I hate beefing with people.
mm.
But yeah, grannies is a.
It's
I
crazy,
miss
right?
my grandmothers. Your
Yes.
grandparents still alive?
Nah, they dead, man. One my
Okay.
great grandma, she was born on a reservation, so she was like Indian. That's how we have Indian in our family. And
Get
she
out.
was just, yeah, you know what I mean. So she was, I mean, really like great. And then my grandmother on my father's side, she was the same way. They both believed in family. They both didn't play, and they both had those hardcore rules. and people had to
Hmm.
follow those rules when you came over their house. They didn't play, and I
Yeah.
missed that. I missed that because it kept the family together. Kept the family
Yeah.
together. Yes,
Man. Yeah.
man.
That's sweet. Yeah, man.
Yes.
Mm.
So, cause let's talk about counseling, man. Let's talk about how come men are afraid of counseling. Number one, and then number two, when men are in counseling, why we can't tell the other men, yo, man, I'm in counseling. Why is it so hard for us
Hmm.
to tell another man that we're in counseling? It's like we keeping the secret. Is that a pride issue? And
Mm.
reflect on counseling. Any type of counseling, just reflection on it.
Um, the first time I went to counseling, it was after I got divorced, and it was
Okay.
needed. It was
Right.
needed. I was still in my late. I was in my early mid 20s. I was about 25 when I got divorced,
Well, I
and
didn't know you. I didn't know you was married. I didn't know you was married before.
yep, yep. I
Okay.
got married when I was 20. Got
Mhm.
divorced when I was 25. Around
Mhm.
there, it was my high school sweetheart. We married. We met when we was 16,
Right.
and she got pregnant. She had a baby by a dude in the Air Force,
Right.
and she told me the truth. She said, "I'm pregnant, and I don't think it's yours."
Mm.
I was like, man, that was the worst feeling I ever had in my life, still to this day.
Right.
And I held all that in. I was keeping everything a secret, and nobody knew what was happening because I kept
Mhm.
my family out of our life,
Right.
as people should. And she went ahead and had the baby because she said she don't believe in abortion, and I
Mm.
divorced her. And I was holding this in for probably a good 3 years. You know what I mean? It took
Right.
me 2 years to divorce her
Mm.
because we had been together so long. It was hard to just walk away,
Right.
even though it was it was a bad situation. And I feel stupid for this, but I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. She had
Okay.
the baby. I stayed for 2 years after the baby was born
Mm.
and was helping her raise this kid for 2 years. I felt like the biggest dummy
Nah,
on
man, that's called
earth
love. That was
after
you,
I
and
left.
that was your wife. Even though that happened, but
Yeah.
I could see. But go ahead, I can see what you're talking about.
Hmm. Yeah. And it was embarrassing, and nobody knew. And
Mm.
my family still don't know the whole story to this day, but they
Wow.
thought that the baby was mine. My family, like my mom, my sisters, I didn't tell them
Right.
what had happened. They thought the baby was mine because of some strange reason the baby was looking like my sister Simone when she first was born.
Right.
But when she turned 2, she was starting to look like her daddy,
Mm.
and that's where it clicked in. I said, "Man, I'm 20 some years old. This is stupid. I can't do this." I said, "I can't be the hero. I
Right.
cannot be the hero because I was depressed the whole time. I
Mhm.
was out of my mind. And after I got divorced, I went to go see a minister,
Right.
my minister back in Youngstown, Ohio, and I was
Mhm.
just chopping it up. I wasn't gonna say anything to him about it, and he was like, "What's wrong with you, man?" I was like, "Nothing." I said, "I'm cool." He's like, "Come on, man, it's me." And then I had a meltdown right there. He's like, "Come on, let's go to my office, man. We're gonna talk. We're gonna talk." And I poured my guts out. We talked for probably about maybe a good 6 months.
Mm.
Off and on, he didn't charge me no money. Didn't charge me a single quarter. And that was the first time I got counseling, and it was needed.
Right.
It was needed, especially with him. He was a man of God who used to be in
Mhm.
the streets. He was married. He had kids. I was young enough to be his son. So it was like he was like that. He was the counselor, the minister, and the father figure all in
Mm.
one. So it was the perfect situation. Yeah, I always tell him he was like the Mr. Miyagi in my
Right.
life. You know what I mean? Teaching me how to
Mhm.
navigate through life. But it was necessary. It was really necessary in that time. And I think that if you don't have a solid relationship with God the way that you're supposed to, get help. Because there's
Mm.
people out there, they are killing themselves. They are committing suicide off of all type of stuff. And everybody's pain threshold is different.
Right.
What what might feel like a broken finger to you might feel like a broken leg to me. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And I
Right.
tell everybody, get help. Put your pride, your ego, whatever the case may be. You might be afraid. get help. But if you're strong enough and your relationship with God is tight,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like me, like I don't need counseling. I don't need nobody sitting in front of me and telling me what to do and how to do it, and you going by this curriculum. And this is just me. I'm not telling nobody else to do
Mm-hmm.
this. This is
Right.
just me.
Right.
Cause like where I'm at with God, like even God came to me, and my relationship is dope with God. You know what I mean? God was like, I made you.
Mm.
I made you. Everything you need, you can come straight to me. You don't need no
Mm.
middleman. Because and it started happening like that because there was time where I was trying to find counseling, trying to find somebody to go to, and these people just weren't available. I was calling friends to talk to somebody. Yo, man, I'm going through this. I'm getting ready to lose my crib again,
Mm.
and people they're not picking up. You know what I mean? I'm reaching out to
Mm-hmm.
everybody in the moments where I need them, and people wasn't texting back fast enough. They weren't calling,
Mm.
and God was basically like, "Yeah, I don't need them to call because I'm trying to. I need you to come to me. This is
Right.
where I got you. I got the answer to all your problems.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's people that cycle in and out of our lives, and they can help us in moments. But right now, at this moment, this is a learning experience. You said you want to know me. You want wisdom and knowledge and understanding. This is how you're gonna get it right here. Your
Mm.
friend in Atlanta, he can't give it to you. Your mama, she can't give it to you. I got
Mm.
it all right here. And that's when it hit me like, these people ain't make me. You
That's
know what I
right.
mean? If people need that, yes, go right ahead. But the more I talk to people, the more I realize they can't help me. Because the
Mm.
last time I tried to get counseling, I was in a relationship. And the lady, you can tell she was following a script.
Mm.
And I looked at her with this blank look, and she was like, why are you looking like that? And I didn't tell her that I felt like you going down a script. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like you not even
Mm-hmm.
like you ain't even coming up with something that's tailor made to fit me as a
Right.
black male. Because
Mm.
you're gonna take this and then you're gonna use a white, you can apply it to a white man, and then an Indian man, and then a white woman, and a Puerto Rican man. I need something that's tailor made for my trauma,
Mm.
tailor made for my spirituality, tailor made for my ancestors and all the shit that they've been through. Don't give me something that you learn in a classroom and the curriculum was made up by a white man and then he passed it to you and now you passing it to me. I said, nah. And that's when my discernment started kicking in. God was like, yo, this ain't for you. I got the answer and I'm gonna give it to you if you sit yourself still and get
Mm.
off the internet and stop calling people and leave them girls alone. I talk to your heart, and that too. People so distracted.
Mm.
You know what I mean? People got their attention is being pulled in so many directions. Get counseling if you need it. If that could get you to sit down and focus, get it. But even then, when they give it to you, you gotta apply it to yourself. You gotta apply it for yourself. You can't just take it and be like, oh, it didn't work. If you're not applying it, then guess what? You really didn't want no help.
Mm. I like that.
Yeah,
I
but
like that.
I'm for it. I'm for it. Like if I'll never tell people don't try something because everybody's path is different. You might need something I don't need. You might need watermelon today. I might need some asparagus.
Mm-hmm.
You might need broccoli one day. I might need spinach today. Everybody is different. My body might be low on iron. I probably need the spinach. Your body might be low on protein. So same thing with mind, body, and soul.
I like that. That's dope. That's dope. For me, I had counseling just like you. You know what I'm saying? And at first, I was one of those dudes that I didn't believe in counseling. I didn't want to go to counseling because I thought for me, counseling wasn't for blacks, for a black thing. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? That was one of my reasons. But the
yeah.
other thing was I didn't want to be in somebody's office and they telling me what I need to do and what I got to do when most of the time I figured out, most of the time I figured out my problems on my own. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes, sir.
I was very naive about counseling. And to finally, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
when I was married, she was like, let's go to counseling. Let's go to counseling. I said, all right, let's go. And then that's when I
Mm-hmm.
learned, I really learned that counseling You know what I'm saying? I really learned that counseling helped me. You know what I'm saying? For me, it helped me understand things a little bit better. It made me much more calmer, and it made me compromise because I wasn't a compromising person. You know what I'm saying? I was very like
Wow.
one-sided, one-sided, one-sided. And then
Mhm.
counseling, boom, made me feel better. And now it's like I try to incorporate it to when I hear people's stories and they might be going through stuff. They might tell me something confidential. And I'd be like, look, try counseling. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I say, look, try counseling. I was so against it, but now it's like I tell people who was going through stuff mentally, physically, or whatever they're going through, relationship wise, kids wise, whatever. Counseling is I'm telling you, it's a great thing. It's a great tool, especially if you have the right person giving you the right jewels.
Yeah.
But like you said before, God is in the place. The reason why God showed you when people were trying, you was trying to call him and everything like that. That was a sign. He was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. I got the sign.
Yeah.
Same thing with me.
Mhm.
Counseling. I was so against it. I mean, I hate it. I was like, I ain't going. I even want to go. You know what I'm saying? But I went, and
I
and
ain't
when I
want to
went,
go up in there.
yeah, because you know how counseling can be sometimes. It can be one sided depending on what type of counselor it is. Because usually the men
Yeah.
always gets, we get attacked a lot in counseling. You
It
know what I'm saying?
feels like it, right?
It
Yeah.
feels like it, but this guy, he was cool, which was kind of
Mhm.
a. I was like, okay, I can rock with him, because he had a lot of
Yeah.
compromise, and his heart felt like you can feel that his heart wasn't. He wasn't trying to come to that place. He was trying to understand both parties. You know what I'm
I
saying?
like
And
that.
and that made me look at counseling a lot differently. Sometimes it takes like just like you got a puzzle that you're trying to fix and you're trying to find the right pieces to go in that puzzle, and you only got three pieces left, right? And you got two spots to put in. Now, the pieces might be what it is, but sometimes you might have to do something else to make that piece fit in that puzzle. Same thing with
Right.
life. I might handle a situation differently from you, but what works for you, and what works for me. You see what I'm saying? We might
Right.
have the same problem, but still, you know, it might be a different result. It might be a different way we doing it, but it might still be the same result, you know.
Right.
So counseling, like I
Yeah.
tell anybody to who's listening right now, I see you, Sel. Big up to you. What's up, Sel? Like I said, if anybody needs it, I'm letting you know, try it. At least try it one time if you're going through something right now, especially if you have mental health issues or whatever you're going through. At least give it
Uh-huh.
the old college try. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
see what happens. That's all I can say
I
about that,
agree.
man. So I got
Yeah.
one
And
last
travel,
question,
travel your
man.
path.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
travel your path. One last question. Wanting and needing sex is it for a man? Is it a want or is it a need? And why?
It's a need.
Okay.
It's a
Why
need.
why
We
okay.
sex is, I don't know the anatomy that well, but I've been studying this. That like sex. I think about how I can break it down.
Okay.
Sex is like a vitamin. You
Mm,
know what I mean? It plays a major part in everybody's health, men's health and women's health. Sex is a need. God created the body to naturally desire it,
mm,
and we start to tap into these feelings and emotions as little boys and as little girls,
mm,
and they're not. Nobody comes and talks to us about, you know, the first time a little boy gets an erection.
right.
You know what I mean? Like he don't have to think about it. That's just what his body is gonna do. Puberty is happening. He's starting to grow hair down there, and his body. He's gonna have erections probably at night during the day. What's going on?
Hmm.
And sex is a need. I'm trying to find the words to break it down, but it's scientific proof that Men who have a healthy sex life, they live longer,
Yep.
they're happier, um, they're in better shape because
Yep.
it's cardio too. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Their mental is better, in a better place. They feel better emotionally because it when the body, right before you have sex and then during and then after you have sex, the body creates chemicals and endorphins. It's almost like lifting weights and something exciting is about to happen, like you going on a roller coaster ride and you got this intense feeling that's about to
Right.
happen. You know what I mean? But it's exciting. You
Mm.
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's definitely it's a healthy need, and it's healthy for your spirit, your mind, and your body. And God created sex for us. Now it's been abused, and we
Right.
know that
Right.
it's been abused. You got people out there, they selling sex, they buying sex. Some people just, having threesomes, all these different crazy things. They abused it, and now you got all these crazy diseases: AIDS, HIV,
Mm-hmm.
syphilis, etc. Some stuff you don't even know you have it. It can lay dormant. Herpes can lay dormant for 5 or 10 years
Mm.
in a person, and they could be spreading it and not even realizing that they're spreading it.
Wow.
But sex is definitely a need, and then men who don't have sex on the regular, uh, they found out that their desire to want to have sex goes down. They start to get depressed. They have low self esteem. Their testosterone levels drop, and it's unhealthy overall. They start to gain weight. They start to uh, 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 have longer periods of depression, and it's
Mm.
hard to come out of it once you've been in. Like if a man go like years, people could talk that celibate shit all they want.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool for a minute, but the body's gonna respond. I
That's right.
understand that some people try to save themselves from marriage and all that stuff, but to a certain degree, it can be unhealthy
That's right.
because the body, God created the body to need it, and He created the mind and the spirit to want it. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So people who are not having sex on the regular, some unhealthy stuff is going on, and then your mind gets attacked, right? So the mind is
Right.
going to be under attack while you're not having sex, because you're not having sex, but you still looking at beautiful women. You know what I mean? Let's say
Right. Right.
somebody like my age, they 50, they having a problem meeting a woman. You know what I mean? You're not as
Mm-hmm.
desirable as you used to be. You ain't got the muscles that you had when you was in your 20s, and you
Mm-hmm.
look like shit. You ain't been taking
Right.
care of yourself or whatever. Or maybe just life has been lifing.
Right.
You know what I mean? You might be homeless and you're trying to get yourself on track. And you like, I ain't got nowhere. I can't do nothing with a woman, no way.
Right.
But that's not going to stop you from feeling more depressed while you're trying to get yourself on track, because you can't bring no woman home to no tent. I mean, you probably could, but if you got any pride and dignity about yourself, you're like, nah, I got to get on my feet, get my crib and my money up. Then I can
Mm-hmm.
go out and find me a woman. If you that type of person, and during that time while you're trying to get yourself together, you're declining, especially when
Right.
you're in your late 30s, 40s, 50s. Men suffering from erectile dysfunction because they're not eating right, living right, or drinking enough water
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So like it's hazardous to your health
Mm.
to not be able to have it. They need it, and women need it too, but they try to make it seem like
Now you don't need
uh, they
it.
don't
Right.
need it sometimes. Yeah, nowadays it's like that. It wasn't like that when I was growing up. When I was in my
Mm-hmm.
20s and
Mm-hmm.
30s, women was like, "Shit, I want it too." When you
Yep.
when you pulling up. But
That's
now
right.
it's like they weaponize it to a certain degree. Well, he got it. If he could come over here and and I gave him some sex, that's all I need to be doing.
Mm.
That's it. That's all you need to be doing. Is that how you feel?
Wow.
Okay. Well, you stay over there with that mindset. Don't come around me, because
Mm-hmm.
I need more than sex. You know what I mean? I
That's right.
need the sex, but I need everything that comes along
With it.
with your womanhood as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and it's unhealthy for women to do that too. They've been in that space so long where they ain't been doing nothing. They probably been masturbating and all that stuff, and that's probably what they used to. So when they finally get a man who ready to put it down, he can't do her better than the vibrator
Mm.
or whatever tool she been using that make her get off 5 or 6 times in 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So now he can't give you that in five. He can't give you 5 orgasms in 3 minutes. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So now
Right.
you missed out on the intimacy part
Mm.
because you got there has to be intimacy and foreplay as well.
Right.
It's a lot to unpack there. There is
Mm.
definitely a need in the mental part where like men can be attacked is the pedophile spirit. People don't want to
Right.
talk about it, but men, their minds, and some of them are just pedophiles. You know what I
Right.
mean? So they may
Mm-hmm.
prey on a little girl or somebody that's younger, and this
Mm-hmm.
is a conversation that a lot of them don't want to have. But
Right.
they should. Your mind's gonna get attacked. You ain't touched a woman in a long time, so if you get around a little girl, it's a possibility that they mind might might drift there. It might go there. The devil might put a thought in your mind. Go ahead and
Mm-hmm.
touch that little 10-year-old girl. You know what I mean? And it's sick.
It
It's
is.
sick as hell. But that's something that a man might go through, versus a man who and a man might do it even if he got a fine ass wife at the house. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the individual, but you more subject to be under attack mentally with those thoughts if you're
Yeah.
single and you haven't been with a woman in a while.
Mm. Mean. Mean. Mean.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. For me, when I was younger, it was a want. It was like I want it, I want it, I want it. You know what I'm saying? As I got older, it became a need. You know what I'm saying? So I look at it as I'm glad that we talking about this because a lot of men we don't really talk about this. And I reason why I think it's a need now because as we get older, we like you said, we don't look like how we used to look. We start to get older, we start to get doubt, we start having doubt how we look, we start having doubt because we can't do the things that we used to do as far as, you know, let's say jog around the block, let's say certain things that you used to do. And then you have to look at the competition of the younger man who nowadays a lot of women go after the younger man. So now you have to deal with that. You have to stay in shape and then you have to hope that the person that you with is mentally stable to know that okay, this is a need. I got to make sure that I fulfill his needs, and we fulfill each other's needs because it, and for order for sex to happen, it has to be two people, needing each other at the same time. So that's
Hmm.
key. So for me, I'm glad um, that as you get older, as you mature, you start to realize that sex is a need and you start to realize that the wants is always going to be there. A want is like the little devil on your shoulder. God, you know what I'm saying? That the want is like the little devil on your shoulder telling you, go get that, go get that. On this shoulder,
Hmm.
it's the angel telling you, well, this is what you need. You don't have to go through all that stuff all the time. So
Hmm.
when you have those things, those balances that's going on like that, it kind of plays in your head sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Because
Hmm.
sometimes, like you said, you might see a lady that's very attractive, and you might just look at her. You might be like, damn. But then you say to yourself, wait a minute, that's a want. That's not a need. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like separating because I think we get confused with wanting and needing. I think that's what's wrong with the fellas. We get confused between what is a want, what is a need, and that's why I think everything is the way it is right now. And not just fellas, but ladies too. You know what I'm saying? You got to know
Hmm.
what a want is and what a need is when it comes to sex. And I think
Yeah.
I think a lot of I think a lot of couples should have this type of talk in their house. Like, do you want sex from me or do you need sex from me? And then elaborate on what is the want, what is the need, and I think that the sexual game will become it will come better. That's just my opinion.
Hmm. Yeah. It's a
Right.
the sex part is like it's like life.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because we create life when we have sex. So God wants us to have it.
Mm.
It's just being responsible
Right.
when we do have it. He wants
Mm.
you to have it with the person that you're gonna live and be with. And it's like it's like water. If
Right.
we don't drink water, we're gonna die. It might not be a quick death. And the same thing with sex. If you're not getting it, it's a slow death.
Yep.
It's a really really slow death.
Mm.
So yeah, like the body, because the body is responding without thinking. A lot of times,
Mm.
like how we was when I was young. I was in my teens, 20s, and 30s. My testosterone levels was through the roof. So I was
Right.
just when I was with my wife, I was with my wife when I was
That's
married.
right.
I didn't
Hmm.
mess around after we said I do.
Right.
Before I said I do, yes, I was messing around on her when
Okay.
we was in high school. And
Keeping
then
it real.
after
Keeping it real.
we, yep, and when we got divorced, I was so depressed I couldn't mess around. But
Mm.
after like a 2 year period went by, it dwindled down, and then again, I wasn't thinking about it. I was just responding off of my body. My body wasn't I wasn't thinking about it. My body was just in motion. You know what I mean? I was just responding. It wasn't nothing strategic or thinking about it. I would just find myself in these places talking to these different girls, trying to take them home. I wasn't even thinking, like again with my mind, like strategically. I was just responding off of my body. My body was just like, yo, because my testosterone levels was healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? My hormones was all over the place. I was like, it's time to get it popping. You know
Mm.
what I mean? And I didn't have to think about having an erection.
Mm.
My body would just do it. You know
Right.
what I mean? Because that's the testosterone, your hormone. That's a healthy man's body. You
Mm.
should you should have periodic. You should have probably a healthy man's body should have probably 6 to 7 erections a day
Mm.
without being stimulated with the attempts of sex. That's a healthy man's body.
Mm.
Between 6 to 7 times a day
Mm.
without the thought process of getting ready to have sex.
Mm.
And you should have them at night without without the thought. It's supposed to do this on its own. Is
Mm-hmm.
that you supposed to have an erection? A healthy man's body will have an erection on its own while you're sleeping. It'll go up and then go up and go down. That's where that morning wood comes from. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
Like
The
you've been
morning
sleeping
wood.
all night.
Mm-hmm.
Why is your thing hard?
Mm-hmm.
And you should have them periodically throughout the day if your body is healthy enough to have these erections. Because a man's penis, that's where the smallest veins is at in his body.
Mm.
So soon as you start having poor blood flow or high blood pressure or high cholesterol, that blood flow going to the penis is the first thing that's going to happen. Where a
Right.
lot of people get erectile dysfunction from is because the body is not healthy, or if you're stressed
Mm.
out,
Right.
it's not going to have a healthy erection. If you're depressed, you're not going to have a healthy erection. If you're dehydrated, if you haven't been getting your fruits and vegetables, a poor diet, not exercising. All these things that's why I like lean towards like the body wants it, not so much as the mind. The mind can be creative enough to say, you know what, we're gonna do a doggy style, we're gonna do a submission, I'm
Right.
gonna smack you on your ass and all that shit. Watch a little bit of porn, get it popping. But the body, it when you know your body's healthy, it would have erections periodically and to to needs to need to be stimulated by something can can be a sign of not having the ability to produce a healthy erection. Like some people
Mm.
need porn, but
Yeah.
eventually, like the porn can be bad because now you need porn to get up, and then it can desensitize the mind and the mood and what you see. Like we're desensitized now. I see so much ass now, it ain't even special no more.
I know because it's everywhere. It's everywhere, man.
It's everywhere.
It's
It's everywhere. It's
everywhere.
all over the like. They got soft porn on TikTok and freaking Instagram. I gotta be
Yep.
careful what I look at because I don't want that stuff popping up in my algorithm. I like women with big booties and big breasts. I'm supposed to. I'm
Yo,
supposed to.
somebody asked the question. It says, I stopped chasing women, but I still battle with lust. Any advice? Hmm.
um, why you stop chasing women? It's okay to
Yeah.
approach a woman that you like. Go
Mm-hmm.
ahead and approach. Have sex. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? I'm not telling people not to have sex. Be respectful with it. Some people like to go by the Bible and say I'm gonna save myself for my
Mm-hmm.
husband,
Right, right.
and that's okay if you want to do that, but that can be an unhealthy
Yeah, I've been through
wait
that
depending
before.
on how
I've
long
been through
you
that.
waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I've already had my
Mm-mm.
conversation with God.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
can't
about to
do
stop
that.
having
Yeah,
sex.
can't
I'm
do
just
that.
gonna be I'm just gonna protect myself and be
Mm-hmm.
responsible.
Yeah.
But if you like keep that going because going after a woman, it's a stimulant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even if she says
Stimulates
no,
you. Mm-hmm. That's
yeah, it
right.
stimulates you. You know what I mean? When you get the number, ooh, you feel accomplished. You know what I mean? You feel
Right.
accomplished. You get them digits. You feeling good about yourself. It's a stimulant. And if they don't want to be bothered, brush it off and go to the next one.
And it depends on what
Brush it
type
off
of
and go
lust
to the
you
next one.
talking about too. Like what type of lust are you talking about? That's another thing because you could lust for the wrong reasons. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
you got to be specific about lust. You know what I'm saying? Wow. This is great, man.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
we running out of time, and this has been a great talk, man. I really appreciate this, man. That's why I like doing split personality. I'm gonna have you on some other ones coming up in the future,
Yeah.
man. I mean, this is great.
Okay.
I love this. Good feedback. Everybody's
Thank you.
been, it's been feedback, man. So, any shout outs before we get out of here, man, brother?
I want to shout you out. Thank you for having me
Salute.
on the show.
Hmm.
Uh, our relationship has come a long way, brother.
Yes.
Long way. We met in 2020. Was it
Yep.
2020?
Yeah.
And
2020.
COVID hit. Yeah, that's when I started. That's when I started
Hmm.
working at the hospital. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
2020. Yeah, it's been going strong. I always vibe out with New Yorkers. Shout out to New York. Shout out to Ohio. But
Yes. Shout
I
out
always tell
Ohio.
people, yeah, I always tell people I'm an honorary New Yorker.
Yes. You are. You are,
Shout out.
man.
Yeah,
You and Ak. You
yeah,
and Ak. Yup.
yeah, yeah. Shout out to Ox. Shout out to your brother, Shakim. I say his name right.
Yeah, you said it right.
Your brother Shakim.
Hmm.
Shakim. Shout out to DJ Shakim. And anybody who's gonna tap in and watch this, keep showing Duquan love on all his platforms. Check him out. He got a lot of good content out there. He's not afraid to touch down on the topics that a lot of people are afraid to tap into. Um, he's a loving brother. He's humble. He has a lot of knowledge and wisdom, and he's so gracious enough to always, give somebody else the mic and let them spit their wisdom and knowledge. So I'm always appreciative of that all the time, man.
Appreciate
Ever
that,
since
brother.
we first
Appreciate
started
that.
talking, yeah, yeah,
Appreciate that, brother.
my brother.
Salute. Yes, so
Salute.
this was another episode of Connected Dots. I am your host, Lou Icewater, aka Duquan Hicks, with my special guest, my man, the legend, Hassan, Ohio, stand up.
Ohio. Yes, sir.
Peace.
Peace,
Blessings. And
brother.
thank you, my brother. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you,
Much
man.
love.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Much
Right.
love. Yes, sir.
What up, world? It's DJ Shakim, and right now you're checking out Connect the Dots, the podcast, all right? Connect the Dots, the podcast. Check it out on YouTube and all streaming platforms, all right? Peace.